Okay, let's get to our mock. This is mock 4.0. Gator, as we zero in on this, I'm really wanting to trade back, but then you can't trade the pick for what we're doing, and trades are impossible to predict. And I really think with so many teams trying to trade back, there'll be very little movement tonight. It might happen, but I don't expect a whole lot of opportunities for Brad Holmes to move back. The pick is in, and with the sixth pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Will Anderson, edge rusher, Alabama. I love that this guy was a two-time captain for Nick Saban. I think it fits what the Lions want in the room. He's an elite pass rusher. His go-to move he learned from Nick Bosa called the forklift. He's good against the run. He's good with leverage at the line of scrimmage. He can chase you down. This Saban quote I love. He's the kind of person that's not satisfied with where he is. I love working with this guy because he sets a great example for everybody else on the team. Will Anderson is the pick for me at 6.
Well, for me, the pick is in. I love Will Anderson, but I got to go Jalen Carter. I really do love Will Anderson, but the reason I'm going Jalen Carter is it's the bigger screaming need as a position of need for the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to buy into any of this stuff we're hearing about. He's got a bad work ethic and shows up late for meetings and, you know, all that stuff, the character assassination that's gone on in the silly season here. What I am going to go on is, what did I see when I watched him play? And when I watched him play, this is the guy that stands out. This is the guy that you go, wait a minute, who the hell is that? What was he, number 88? Huh? Hang on a second. Let me Google who the hell 88 is. And then you find out. And as you do that early in the year, you say Jalen Carter, and you file that name away because you saw him early. Maybe you saw him a year ago. But you know who the hell he is because he's all over the place. This is a guy who controls the gaps right there at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be an awesome run stuffer from day one. He's going to occupy the offensive line, allowing other people to make plays as well. Not only that, this guy gets penetration into the offensive backfield. He's going to shove you right into the running game, or he's going to shove you right into the quarterback. This is the perfect pick for the Detroit Lions. Don't mess it up. If Jalen Carter's there at 6, you take him.
Khang, you're on the clock.
And the pick is in, boys. I agree with Doug Karsch. You got to take defensive end Will Anderson if he's there. I mean, this is the bookend defensive tackle. You want to go alongside Hutch. Imagine passing downs where you can move Hutch inside and Houston on the outside and have Will Anderson on the other side. It'd be fantastic. This is exactly what teams are looking for to get that. You want one. You're lucky to get one defensive end. You get 2, oh my, watch out. A 3rd and long defenses. That's every defensive coordinator's dream right there. As strongly as you feel about Jalen Carter, I kind of feel the opposite, Gator. It's not the on-the-tape stuff. Clearly, you can't argue with what he put on tape and what he put out there with Georgia on Georgia on Saturdays. It is the off-the-field stuff. It is the latest Burkett article where Jalen Carter admitted to him, and we weren't there, so we don't know what the tone or the tenor and the context, but the fact that he said, yeah, probably could have worked harder at Georgia, that scares the crap out of me. And I think that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, every time they've said something about a prospect, they talk about how much that guy loves football. If you love football, I feel like you leave it out there in practice on Saturdays. I don't feel he's the guy. I'm really worried about him. I'm thinking Will Anderson.
You know what I love about him saying that could have worked harder? Is it shows how amazing he was, and there's more in the tank to get. And this is the perfect coaching staff to get it.
Let's get to the pick at 18. The pick is in. Gator, I think this one's been overthought. I think we have gone round and round, and there's a player that I absolutely love at a position that is screaming of need. And the thing is, it's a position they didn't address in free agency. They addressed everything else. And I can't take the chance that this guy isn't going to be there in the second round. With the 18th pick, the Detroit Lions select Jack Campbell, linebacker, Iowa. And you know, if they can maneuver around a little bit, I'd be big time in favor of that. There was some question about his athleticism. Then he went and tested off the charts at the combine, one of the best linebacker scores of all time. He's another guy who's a 2-time captain That fits in the Lions' room. I think these are guys that the Lions seek out, and I think he starts from day one. And he's another player that wasn't on social media. He called it a distraction. He didn't seek NIL deals at all. Kirk Ferentz said everything he does hard. Jack Campbell is my pick at 18. Now, with that said, if you can maneuver a little bit and get him a little bit later, I'd be in favor of that. But for the purposes of I don't want to lose him. So I'm taking Jack Campbell at 18 because I am suspicious he will be gone by the time the Lions pick in the second round.
I understand what you're saying. I totally get it. And I love the linebacker position, as you know. Always try to identify guys. And this is an opportunity for the Lions to go out and get one in the first round. But this is a player that I didn't expect to be available until you said it this morning. So, my list of players, wasn't sure you're going to have them on there. So I'm changing up from what I had written on my show sheet this morning. The pick is in. And with the 18th selection of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select outside linebacker / edge rusher Nolan Smith, Georgia. Too much production from this guy. He's got too high of a motor. You just can't ignore it. Anybody who's going to run a 4.3 40 is going to turn your head. The fact that he's an outside linebacker and he's running like that, all I can think about in my head right now is what Dallas got a couple years ago in Micah Parsons. And what they got is a menace on the defense. I think that's what this guy could be. I love that he's got the speed and the ability to also drop back into coverage. You mentioned, you talked a lot about his attitude and how he's this team-first guy. He's so team-oriented and goal-oriented. He's a perfect pick for the Lions. And I also think it's perfect because if I'm matching him up with Jalen Smith, his teammate, he can help keep him accountable. Sorry, I said Jalen Smith?
Yes.
Jalen Carter, he helps to keep him accountable. And I think it's a great combo to have. You just bolstered your defensive line and made it extraordinarily better. I love both of these selections.
Yeah, he's another guy that seems to fit the Lions profile. I had to eliminate somebody. The perfect draft for me is they move back from 6 to 10 and get Nolan Smith, and they move back from 18 to the late 20s, late first round, and get Jack Campbell and get a whole bunch of extra picks. But we can't trade it. Khang, you're on the clock.
This draft has fallen perfectly for me. You're telling me I get Will Anderson 6, and my quarterback of the future at 18, Anthony Richardson, is the pick. I don't know if he's going to be there 18. He's kind of a wild card. Could be in the top 4. He could fall to the Ravens at 22. But if he's there at 18, I think it's a no-brainer. It's a draft and stash. Of course, I play Jared Goff this year. If he plays great, that's fine too. I take my chance. So at some point, you can't keep kicking the can down the road. I'm getting prepared in case Jared Goff regresses and he's not the guy. As much as you love your picks, Gator, I love my picks as well.
There we go. Get your picks in at 6 and 18. I got Will Anderson and Jack Campbell. Gator's got Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Khang's got Will Anderson and Anthony Richardson. 248-539-9797.